Hundreds of Kosovo Serbs have clashed with NATO riot police at the river which divides the ethnically split town of Mitrovica. The protesters converged on the River Ibar, singing patriotic Serb songs and defiantly waving Serb flags. Mitrovica was always seen as a potential flashpoint as Kosovo headed for independence. The fledgling state has beefed up security along its border with Serbia following the riots in Belgrade and the arson attacks earlier this week on the frontier post at Jarinje. A convoy of Serb students from Belgrade University was stopped at the border before being allowed to continue to Mitrovica. The United States has tried to ease tensions with Serbia after the sacking of its Belgrade embassy. The White House blamed thugs, saying they didn't represent the true Serbia. One person thought to be a rioter died in the embassy when pro-Kosovo protests turned violent. The European Union has warned Belgrade to rein in protesters who blame the West for Kosovo's independence. EU Foreign Policy Chief Javier Solana appealed for calm.
I think that the people in Serbia, they know that they have a European perspective. But please, the leaders have to behave and control the situation so that this goes in the right direction.
Despite Washington's measured response to the violence, the United States is reducing its presence in Belgrade. The embassy said support staff and dependents would be pulled out, leaving just the ambassador and his core staff.
Heavy fighting is underway in northern Iraq between PKK Kurdish fighters and the Turkish army. Combat is raging in the Zagros Mountains, where the borders of Iraq, Turkey and Iran meet. In the past few weeks, the Turks have been hitting the PKK from the air and mounting small-scale raids. But the Turkish press today says 10,000 troops with armour, artillery and air support have invaded in a bid to surround a PKK stronghold and smash it. It could remain in Iraq for 2 weeks, according to anonymous sources. The Iraqi government initially said it had no information about any Turkish invasion, although Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan said today he had telephoned the Iraqi Prime Minister and American President to say the army was going in, adding Turkey would not be staying and would respect Iraq's territorial integrity. Baghdad says only a few hundred troops have been deployed on their side of the border. The Turkish military says it's moved 10 kilometers across the frontier. If the larger force is confirmed, it will be Turkey's biggest incursion in a decade. It has only been mildly condemned in Europe and America, both of which prescribe the PKK as a terrorist organisation. However, the risk of a major Turkish campaign bringing unrest to one of Iraq's only stable areas worries the West. Turkey's NATO allies are thus warning Ankara not to go too far or for too long. The Turks estimate there are several thousand Kurdish fighters based in northern Iraq. The second round of Cyprus's presidential elections takes place on Sunday, with two candidates battling to lead the divided island for the next 5 years. Yannis Kasoulides represents the Conservatives. He's a former foreign minister and he's sounding readier to discuss a possible future reunification with the Turkish Cypriots of the north than his predecessor, Tassos Papadopoulos, who unexpectedly crashed out of the race in the first round. He faces a strong challenge from the communists, Dimitris Christofias. Despite being a Papadopoulos ally in the 2004 rejection of a UN peace plan for the island, which he also rejected, he now says it's possible to speak to the northern Turks in a common language. Both men accept the original UN plan can't be reactivated, but promise to open new initiatives. If Christofias wins, he'll be Cyprus's first communist leader, and he'll have to abandon the party leadership. A current joke doing the rounds in the south of the island is that Fidel Castro only resigned in Cuba because he knew a job was becoming vacant in Cyprus. Opinion polls are giving Christofias a slight advantage.